Welcome Average Joe Nation from around the globe. Props to you for staying up to date and keeping in the know. Fantasy football, man, very soon you'll reign. The knowledge that these three guys have, man, it is insane. Fantasy football talk, hateful eight, they wear the crown. Hold it down, Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli, hold it down. Pulling up to LB Design Studio, we're getting loud. Season 2, headphones on, red light go, break it down.
Welcome back to the Hateful Eight Fantasy Football Podcast with your host. I'm Pickle, and with me as always, Blackburn.
What's up?
And Trimboli.
What's going on?
This episode, we will discuss the rest of the Week 4 games and get your lineups ready for this weekend and Monday night. So, as always, don't forget to follow the show's Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. Now, on to the Week 4, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Weekly starts and sits, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right, Week 4, the good, the bad, and the ugly, presented by StatRoute. Dominate your league. Get the stats used by the pros. Any stat, any player, any team. Available in under 5 seconds. StatRoute.com. And I think they're trying to do, halfway through the season, they're trying to do free trials for a weekly basis. So definitely sign up, get your hands on that, and see how helpful that can be, honestly. So, who do I have the 1 o'clock?
You do.
I do have the 1 o'clock games this week.
I got prime time.
Sweet. All right. This week, the Buffalo versus Green Bay game, which you would think that it would be just an easy, breezy Green Bay win. However, with whatever they decided to bring on the flight with them over to Minnesota last week, Buffalo may actually be they may compete in this game, surprisingly enough. I'm not saying that it's going to be a blowout win, but they might compete.
I don't know what happened last week.
You think it was like the time zone?
I don't know, but
Drinking some of that Josh Allen Kool-Aid.
something.
Yes.
I don't. And McCoy might play this week. I don't know.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So for me in this game, the good for this one is Josh Allen, and that's because the Green Bay defense is hurting injury-wise, and apparently they get flagged anytime they touch the quarterback. So why not? Why not play Josh Allen and in a streamable pinch if you need to? But like I said, Green Bay's 30th against quarterbacks, and Josh Allen actually looked pretty good last week against that Minnesota defense, hurdling guys.
Yeah, he hurdled a linebacker. That was like awesome.
It was legit.
He looked like a giraffe hurdling a rhino. Anyways, so the
Wait. Got to get that picture out of my head.
I'm trying to picture that.
Giraffe?
Well, they technically don't have to hurdle because I guess
rhino?
giraffes are pretty tall. They got long legs. Never mind. I knew what I was going for. Whatever.
What if the rhino hurdled the giraffe?
That might be interesting.
My mind is blown.
Sound effects. Bad for this week is the Green Bay wide receivers. Now, I'm not saying don't play Devonta Adams. I'm just saying be cautious because the Buffalo defense, surprisingly enough, their best defense, I guess, is being 7th against the wide receiver. So I don't know how. Even in the games that they've been brutally getting just demolished, their defense is still doing really well against the wide receivers. So I'm just saying curb your thought that he's going to blow it up for 20-some fantasy points this week. So I'm just saying I'm probably still playing Devonta Adams. I'm just saying in general I'm not expecting a big game because I think that Green Bay offense is struggling with Aaron Rodgers being hurt, and I think the defense is going to put some pressure or maybe getting beat by Josh Allen in that offense, so they might have to throw the ball a lot, and I'm just not sold on them. So, but the ugly, Chris Ivory, and this is based on if LaShawn McCoy does not play. Now it's still that was bad. I hadn't done that in a couple weeks.
He had a rhino in his throat.
Rhino in my throat. Chris Ivory, and this is, like I said, based on LaShawn McCoy not playing. Now, obviously, it's a game-time decision for LaShawn McCoy, so you have to keep updates on that for last-minute changes. But even if either or, if LaShawn McCoy plays or Chris Ivory plays, I think they are the ugly because Green Bay is about middle of the road against running backs. They're 15th out of 32. Oh, my gosh. What is wrong with me?
Take a drink.
Just take a minute. 3 minutes later.
I will say Adrian Peterson did a number on Green Bay.
True. So
22 points.
Adrian Peterson's in his own little league, even at 30 plus. So
My only concern is that Buffalo looked well on the ground, but they were playing with the lead all game.
Right.
So
true.
if they're not playing with the lead, that's what concerns me.
True. So hence why I put them in the ugly category.
true.
I don't think
No.
that they're going to be awesomely great, but I don't think they're going to completely fall through the floor with horribleness. So
it makes them ugly.
Makes them ugly. Cincinnati and Atlanta, the good for this one, Tevin Coleman. Devonta Freeman still sounds like he's not playing for sure. And Cincinnati is 21st against running backs, so not successful against stopping the run.
Nope. But we're winning.
You are winning, so kudos to that. But now the Bengals tight end. Now I know we talked about how they've kind of been interchanging, being successful, but Atlanta's one great stopping point at this point is against the tight end. So I'm not starting any of the Bengals tight end in this game. So
I can live with that.
So I was going to ask. So in reference to Tyler Eifert, what is it?
Uzman.
And
And then Croft, I think that until you get a true leaping stone ahead of one or the other, I think they're all kind of interchangeable at this point, correct?
Yeah, I don't even know if you're going to get, one that's going to outdo the other one. Uzma seems to be used a lot in the red zone. Croft has his own little package of plays, and like I said, they're trying to keep Eifert healthy, it looks like. So.
Right.
And then Tyler Boyd coming onto the scene,
Right. That's big.
And then when Mixon gets back, there's a lot of options. I just don't see Dalton throwing that many touchdowns to make all those tight ends, relevant for fantasy. So
True. And the ugly in this one, only because obviously Mixon is more likely not to play. Gio Bernard, who had a very good game last week.
Yep.
And Atlanta is struggling defensively to stop the run now that they've lost their linebacker and their I don't want to say thumper tight end, or not tight end, but safety, but they're guys that were the aggressors on the defense like we talked about. So Atlanta is 15th against the running back. So it's the middle of the road. However, I think Gio can be successful against this defense because he not only can run, but he can also catch the ball.
I'd say he's a PPR monster right now because he's going to get a lot of volume in the passing game.
This game could be a shootout.
Right. I'm hoping it is.
Yeah.
Me too.
I just like points.
Now, the Detroit versus Dallas game, both teams are kind of going the opposite directions of what people thought they might be before the season started initially. Detroit's actually coming off of a win against New England, and Dallas is coming off of a complete destruction against Seattle. So the good in this one, I got Kenny Golladay, and that's just because he is continuing to trend upward in that offense.
Yep. He's getting the main share of the targets.
He's on most of the plays.
Right.
He's in.
So I know that Dallas is fifth against wide receivers, but still, I think that
that'll change after this game. Sorry.
No, I agree. I think that the thing is that if he was lined up as the wide receiver one, maybe I can give you Byron Jones locked on him for the game. Might be kind of substantially bad for him, but he's going to be probably going against the corner that's the third best option because Tate's going to be in the secondary in that slot position more than likely, and Galladay's going to be on the outside, so he's getting probably second or third best option on a snap-by-snap basis. And I'll be honest with you, as a Dallas fan, they only go about one or two deep on that secondary.
I say with Marvin Jones, Tate, and Galladay, it's hard to guard all three of those guys.
Right. Plus, Kerryon Johnson's deciding to show up. So, but the bad in this one, the Lions tight ends, not a good matchup for them. 10th against tight ends, the Dallas Cowboys are. And I know that Sean Lee is not out, so Jalen Smith has actually decided he's looking pretty good out there. And then Vanderbosch has decided to, he's actually been a pretty decent fill-in, but still not Sean Lee, and it sounds like he is potentially not going to play this week now. But I'm not sold on the Lions tight ends at all in this game or on a weekly basis, honestly. But
and we got those three wide receivers. It's hard to find,
Plus,
another target for
They
him.
throw a lot. Kerryon Johnson did have the 100-point or 100-yard game, but they throw a lot.
Right.
Stafford.
But so, and then the ugly of this one is the wide receiver one in Dallas, however you want to take that. Cole Beasley, I've got him as the ugly in this game, and it's because he's been clutch for the wide receiver position in Dallas. He's the only one that's continually catching the ball, and I think he's the only one that Dak feels safe enough to throw to when the game is either on the line or in those crunch situations that, in my opinion, Witten was seeing a lot of those short routes, those kind of 5-yard little pass plays where it's just enough to get the ball moving for a short third down or to get the first down on a short third down. So,
speaking of Witten, they need to get him back. That team is not the same without him.
He's not going to leave the booth.
No.
Oh, no.
I think that...
But they need somebody.
They do.
There are still talks out there that Dez Bryant might walk through the door one of these days.
I don't care if Dez Bryant comes back or not. They need a quarterback that can throw the ball.
Also true.
Agree.
So, I agree with you. But now Houston versus Indianapolis. This should be interesting.
It's an interesting game right here.
Both defenses are kind of struggling overall. What?
No, you're good.
Oh, I was going to say both defenses are kind of struggling at this point, and Houston's offense hasn't been as good as what we all thought they might be. No. I'm not saying that specifically Watson. I'm saying across the board the offense has kind of been struggling. But the good in this one, Eric Ebron. I mean, the guy has been solid. As soon as he made the move, and you made the comment in the offseason about how you thought he might be the guy going forward, and I know that we've all kind of at times talked about how he's just the athletic guy in that. I mean, Doyle seems to be the traditional blocking tight end, goes out for maybe a 4 or 5 yard route, and that's about it. Where, I mean, Ebron's running down the field.
Yeah, they haven't established that wide receiver 2 yet, so he's kind of filling that role.
Right. And with Doyle being out last week, it just was it was a successful game for Eric Ebron, and he just continues to get better every week. And they're 26th against tight end, Houston is. So it's a pretty good matchup for a guy who seems to be Andrew Luck's favorite option in the red zone. So, and the bad, Lamar Miller. I know he's been hot and cold all year, but Indianapolis is a top defense against the run, surprisingly enough.
Sure are.
8th against running backs specifically, so not a good week for Lamar Miller. I would really even be hard pressed to put him in a flex position this week. I mean, you're going to have to probably based on rosters, but I'm not putting him in my wide receiver or my running back 1 or 2 in this situation.
He's almost like right now a PPR only.
Right. Which is crazy because with the other running back out, Foreman, he was supposed to blow up.
Should have, but I mean the offense, like I said, is kind of struggling. They're in idle position.
Well, Will Fuller is their top wide receiver right now.
Yeah.
Well, Will Fuller was out one of the games, so now with him back, it might pick up a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's looked better.
Yeah, they've gotten better, going forward. But that's why I said this is an interesting game because Colts defense isn't that bad.
No, I mean I think Houston's defense is worse than the Colts, obviously. But and then the ugly in this one, Jordan Wilkins, and that's just because it sounds like Marlon Mack may or may not play again, and Nyheim Hines has kind of been more used in the pass only kind of game play. So in the ground game that they really like when they're trying to get the short yardage or in the red zone, Jordan Wilkins seems to be the guy that's stepping in. 25th against running backs, Houston is. So
I wish we could play that Return of the Mac drop.
it's
so depressing.
It is.
I'm kind of mad about Marlon Mack, to be honest, because I thought he was going to be the guy.
He was looking good in the preseason. One game that he played when he tweaked his hamstring, he looked really good until he got hurt. But I don't know, man. It'll be. I think he's on. I think they're just kind of trying to baby him back into the offense and not trying to exert too much and have him completely done for the year.
I just don't know if they're sold on him. I think if they were, he'd be in more. They push him along, but they're not.
Right.
They kind of like the two-headed monster they got going on right now with Wilkerson and Hines.
Mm-hmm. True, and I think they both are. Specifically Wilkins. I think is a good pass blocker.
Yeah.
And the run. I mean.
Yeah. What did I say? Wilkerson? I meant Wilkins.
Yeah. No, you're good. I knew who you meant. Now the Miami-New England game. Who would have thought going into this game Miami would be 3-0?
Yes.
And I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say congratulations.
No.
What's the lottery for tonight? No, honestly, and New England is trending downward. So this is an interesting game because, I mean, technically whoever wins this game could potentially have a half to a full game ahead of the other person for the division at this point.
I'm still not going to count. Like I said last week in the last show, Detroit, Matt Patricia knew that offense.
Right.
That was strategic. I think I look for New England to bounce back in this game.
Well, this is a turning point for the New England offense in general. This is normally the game where they come out and they put their flag in the ground and they put a stamp on it. This is our division. Yep. And they normally blow out Miami.
Is it it's at Foxborough?
Yeah.
So I think that's what's going to happen.
Could be though.
So the good for me in this one is Kenyon Drake. I know we talked about him on the Thursday show about being the meatball of the week. However, New England is 30th against running backs, and I feel like that Miami's probably going to potentially they're going to have to run at some point on this defense.
Listen, I'll get them playing well.
So, now in this one, I had...
Frank Gore.
Right. He is also not...
Frank the Tank.
Frank the Tank. Now, the bad, I initially had Rex Burkhead. Obviously, he is out with IR. I'm still not 100% sold on the run game for New England just because I don't know which one's going to truly be the guy going forward now that there is officially no Rex Burkhead. And but the matchup's not bad. It's just picking who is going to be this week?
Right.
Is it going to be Sony Michel or is it going to be James White? And more than likely, they're probably going to be your RB2 or flex in whichever way you want to do it.
I like James White. I mean, even with Burkhead, Hill, and Michelle, White's your most consistent guy. He's gotten 14, 15 points a game in PPR.
He's a receiving back, and it's kind of surprising they haven't even tried to use Sony Michel that way.
Right.
Which is what I thought they would when in the beginning of in the preseason at least, but
Yeah.
they're not. So you're right. I think James White has the most upside.
Yeah.
Right. So, and then the ugly in this one, it is ugly. Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback, he is actually
He's
doing pretty
balling
well.
out. He's balling out right now.
So
Man, I can't believe that came out of your guys' mouth.
I know, surprisingly enough.
I would never start him, but I'm just saying he is an ugly play this week. If you need, because bye weeks have started
right
now.
This is the first week of the bye week, so
He's healthy. That's the big thing with him.
If you have Cam Newton, he might not be a bad streamable
Or
quarterback for the week.
Alex Smith is on a bye week too.
So, anyways, but 24th against quarterbacks. New England is trash against I mean, pretty much across the board, they're not good defensively. They're struggling to find an identity on that defense, and usually they've got a couple key players. In the past, they've had Gilmore and being good, and they've also had who's the guy that just went to Tennessee? I just drew a blank on his name.
Oh man, he sat out the Super Bowl.
Right. You got it? If you don't
Yeah,
got it,
Come
don't worry.
on, boom knowledge. let's
Marshawn
go.
Lynch. Marshawn Lynch shouldn't have threw it.
Right.
What's
yeah.
the guy's name?
I'm honestly drawing a blank. Anyways, I'm just saying the defense as a whole is looking rough. They're not getting pressure on the quarterback. They're not being able to run sideline to sideline from the linebacker position, and that secondary is awful. The McCourty twins aren't playing very good. So
No. They let Detroit have their first 100-yard rusher since Reggie Bush, 2015. Come on.
I'm just saying New England's defense is rough. Let's just say that. So Ryan Tannehill, I'm just telling you right now, a Ryan Tannehill, Kenny Stills stack might not be a bad play this week. So, especially if maybe you got like Devin Funchess and Cam Newton. So, anyways, so that's mine. Mine are the 1 o'clock games. Who has the midday games?
That guy over there.
Oh,
Did you find it?
No.
no, don't worry about it. He's not important. He's not on the team anymore.
Jets at Jaguars. My good for this one is Jacksonville's defense. Darnold's not the greatest quarterback. He's got 5 picks in 3 games, and Fournette's still questionable. I know he was literally in practice.
He's literally a
as
game
of
time
today,
decision.
but I don't know, this hamstring thing's lingering for him. But of course, Jacksonville is always a good defense to play.
Yeah.
Bad in this game, both quarterbacks, Blake Bortles and Sam Darnold. They've both shown flashes of good, but listen to this: the Jets are first against quarterbacks, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are second. So it's the 2 worst matchups you could have.
In the same game,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. My ugly this week is Keelan Cole. 15 catches in 3 games. He's averaging 15 points per game. Jets are middle of the road at 18th.
Yeah.
against wide
Listen,
receivers.
with Fournette out, his volume share is really going up.
Yeah,
I like him too. Like, he's a big target.
yeah, I
He
agree
got
with
9
you.
targets last week.
Right.
So I agree with you. I think that's a pretty good. I mean, because in theory, if both defenses are playing tough, they're eventually going to have to put points on the board to win a game.
Right.
I mean, you could tie. I mean, Cleveland and Pittsburgh.
Well,
but
Bortles
whatever.
should be better. He was really bad last week.
He's hot
I don't
and
see a
cold.
great game out of him, but he should be better, which would help Cole.
Is it at Jacksonville?
At Jacksonville.
Okay, so maybe he's got a home field advantage being at
I don't
home.
know, he's one of those
Yeah,
up and down
right.
quarterbacks. So you
True.
can't really.
I agree. I wouldn't play him, but I think if he'll play better, which will give Cole an uptick.
Yeah.
Next game, Eagles at Titans. My good is Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
He had a down game last week, but I think he'll get an uptick in that. I know Jeffrey is back at practice. I don't
Right.
know if he was limited or not, but he's still there. But he's had 20 catches in the last 3 games. He's averaging 14 points a game.
He just scares me because I think when Wentz comes in, I think he goes out. I think that's just how the offense goes because Ertz blew up. I mean, he's
Zach
more
Ertz is
targeted.
the number 1 target for
And
Carson
then even
Wentz.
the backup tight end got
Goddard.
play. Yeah,
Goddard.
got a lot of play. So it just scares me a little bit with Wentz back.
My bad for this game, and it's really bad. Derrick Henry.
Oh,
Listen to this.
Sasquatch.
46 rushing attempts in the last 3 games. He's averaging 5 points a game. Deion Lewis is averaging 11.4.
Oh man.
Hottest of the hot garbage.
We need a hot garbage drop because that's terrible.
Need a trash truck back.
And to make it worse, Philadelphia is ranked 3rd best against running backs. So
sorry,
I
Derek.
will say he's so bad he can't even make the meatball team
that's
because I
can't
don't
even-
expect
you're-
anything out of him.
You're on the practice squad of the meatball team.
Yeah.
His ADP was 4th, 5th round. And he was supposed to be the guy.
They were supposed to like factor him in both. I mean, throughout. I mean, evenly, and it's not been even.
That whole offense never got off the.
Well, that's
still
why
hasn't.
Deion Lewis is relevant in PPR formats, especially, is because they're playing from behind all the time.
Right.
In
So-
general, the offense has been horrible there in Tennessee. It's not taking off. It's not taking that next step. Man, I hate to say this, but they might be in the search for a quarterback this upcoming draft.
I was never sold on Mariota.
He's a product of the offense that he came out of at Oregon, honestly.
Right, but I thought the weapons they gave him suited him.
What's that wide receiver?
Corey Davis.
Corey
Yeah.
Davis should be.
Yeah.
MIA.
Now, I know Delaney Walker going down with an injury is kind of like an uh-oh for them, but still, in theory, then just transfer that over to somebody else.
Yeah,
Janu
that's his
Smith's there.
security blanket.
Yeah, he was
Can't
there.
take away his blanket.
He was the main target for them.
Yeah. I don't know, man. And plus, Mariota's dealing with some sort of elbow injury. I don't think he's 100% either. So
He's not. They're going to force him back, and they're still going to suck. Ugly for this week
Fair enough.
is Carson Wentz. He threw 37 passes last week in his return. J.I.
back.
and Corey Clement are kind of banged up. I think Carson Wentz could be a good stream play. We talked about bye-week quarterbacks.
Yep.
I know he only had 13 points, but he could put him in there.
I would say
It's
he's
at Titans.
he's going to get better every week that he
Right.
gets actual game play, like true game speed play. So I'm all right with playing him this week, honestly, as a streamer.
Next game, Buccaneers at Bears. My good this week is Bears special teams, Mac Attack. They're averaging 14.7
Mac
points per
Attack.
game. They're averaging 14.4 games or 14.7 points per game.
Man,
Steelers got the Fitz a lot. He got hit a lot. We talked about it. Caused like 3 or 4 turnovers. I think Khalil Mack's going to be the same way.
yeah, I agree. I talked about this in a joking fashion that eventually the Magic's going to run out of Fitzpatrick.
I thought it was
on the
last
field.
week, but it came back.
The Magic Man's going to stay on the field, man.
Right. I just waiting for that moment when he pulls Khalil Mack out of his hat, and it's just like,
Look,
oh no, it's over.
He could lose 50% of his magic, and he'll still be better than Jameis Winston.
Truth.
Knowledge.
Anywho, my bad for this game, Peyton Barber.
Yeah.
He's got 43 rushing attempts in 3 games for a whopping 124 yards.
Listen, we got to keep this going because he is terrible.
He is. He's bad. And then we talked about this. How bad does that make Ronald Jones III?
Oh.
That's
If Peyton Barber's that bad.
if I was Tampa Bay, I'd be on the phone right now for Bell.
Oh, they are.
They
They're
should
trying
be.
to give away everyone. Their firstborn, even.
Jameis?
It's not happening. No one wants Jameis.
Nobody, yeah, he's on the. Him and Mariota both were so high, and they
Yeah.
came crashing down so hard. It's not even funny.
Oh,
You
man.
know what they're going to do with Jameis? They're going to put him in the car. They're going to tell him they're going to like Disneyland or something.
He's gonna get real happy.
Yeah, they're going to push him out of the car and just leave him wherever he is.
Just
Middle of
they're
the
gonna-
desert
They're going to
somewhere.
hand the money to the taxi driver. Just drive until the gas runs out.
They'll give him a basket full of money, something full of his money.
Take
Just
him to
here,
Canada
go.
and let him play for the CFL.
There you go. They need one now that Johnny's not doing too well.
Anywho, Peyton Barber is averaging 4.7 points per game in 3 games as the RB1. And to make it worse, Chicago is number 1 against running backs. So sucks for Peyton.
It's just crazy that he's a starting running back and you're not going to play him.
He's not even a flex play. He's not
Right.
even an option. He's not even a streamable option.
And we talk about all these guys that are hurt. I mean, I'm playing Eckler over him.
You got
Yeah.
you got Deion Lewis, 11.4.
Who's not even the true. I mean, the sneeze
He's-
counts are
he's-
about even.
He's doubling RB1 stats here.
That's bad.
Anywho, my ugly for this game is Allen Robinson.
Yeah.
He's Bisky's favorite target. He leads the team in targets with 25. He's getting you 12 points per game. At Tampa Bay is 30th against wide receivers. I mean, Big Ben was throwing all over the field.
Yeah. And we talked about this. I think that Jordan Howard and Allen Robinson seem to be the favorites within that offense, with Trey Burton as the third option.
Yeah,
So
Burton and Cohen sprinkled in there a little bit too, but it's the Allen Robinson show.
he has actually done very well, even though that offense is kind of like
Well, Trubisky sucks.
steady and
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to say. This is a big game for Trubisky. If he doesn't ball out or at least show
Man,
more
he is-
life than he has.
I've been disappointed. I mean, to be drafted number 2 overall.
and moved up for that much draft capital.
It's almost like they have a limited playbook for him. Can he not understand it?
I don't know.
Well, I'm wondering how, I don't know, but I know that specifically like Andy Reid. Andy Reid is like the quarterback whisperer. He knows how to get these guys motivated. He knows what their strengths, their weakness. He's kind of like he's an older version of McVay, if that makes sense. Like he can take any
In
quarterback.
a bigger version.
Yeah, he ate McVay.
Yeah.
He's like 3 McVays.
Jeez. Anyways, I'm
With
just
a
saying.
large Coke.
Jeez.
Let me get a McVay, 20 piece.
Got it. Jeez. I'm just saying. I think that Nagy, even though he is from that that tree for the coaches, like the coaching tree from Andy Reid, I don't know if he's as much of a quarterback whisperer as Andy Reid is. So I'm just saying.
Obviously not.
I'm just telling you, I think that maybe they made it very clear that Matt Nagy he's calling these plays. It's just that, unfortunately, Trubisky's not executing.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
he's not making the play. He's overthrowing people.
Right.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
The execution's not there. The play calling's there. So
My next game is Browns at Raiders.
ooh,
Which could be a decent game.
it should be.
My good, and he's a PPR nightmare, Jarvis Landry.
Yes.
Especially with Baker in there now. He's got 20 targets this season, or 20 catches this season, leading all receivers. He's averaging 18 points per game, and Oakland's 22nd against wide receivers.
When I say good, when I agree with the good, I'm saying he might be a top 5 wide receiver this week.
I think he's going to, in
I
general,
could see it with Baker.
Yeah.
general, he's moving up a lot.
Oh, yeah.
My bad for this week is David Njoku.
Ooh.
He's got 9 receptions in 3 games. It could go up a little bit with Baker. I mean, we don't know yet. But he's averaging 5 points per game, and Oakland's ranked 5th best against tight ends. So not a good matchup.
I'd like to see that connection get going, but it hasn't.
It should. He's a big guy, a big target.
I guess I haven't been in the red zone enough to really.
Yeah.
My ugly for this game is Carlos Hyde. He's averaging 21 touches per game. He's got 4 touchdowns in 3 games, 18 points per game, and Oakland's 13th against running backs. When they get in the red zone, it's Carlos Hyde time.
Right. Listen, if Baker plays half as well as he did last week, Hyde's going to be an everyday play.
Yeah.
Every week, I mean, without question.
Yeah, I'm on board. I think that I think that Hyde, as long as he is healthy, and I think we talked about this all in the offseason, that as long as he is healthy, even with Tyrod Taylor, that he is a top 12 running back on a weekly basis, just because the offense is going to he is the guy that they're handing the ball off to. They're not using they're starting to use him in the passing game as well. I mean, Duke Johnson's pretty much fallen off the face of the earth.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Chubb is not even existent in this offense.
Chubb got 3 carries last week.
Yeah.
And Duke Johnson, you're right, for being the passing down. Hyde catches the ball now,
Well, that's what we were talking about on the way coming into this season was we liked Hyde if he got all the volume, but we thought, Duke and Chubb are going to eventually eat into it, and now they're just totally gone.
So
yeah, I mean, Hyde's catching. He had like 4 or 5 receptions last week.
he has the opportunity to be a top 10 running back on each week that he is healthy and playing every game.
He's one of the few guys that are getting you big games on the ground.
Right.
And a lot of these guys are just doing a lot of it through the air or
Right.
through passing. So
And Baker being in there, I think that offense as a whole across the board
Well,
immediately goes up.
as soon as he came in, it opened up everything like we
Yep.
talked about last
Yeah.
show. Everybody looked more energized, and
I would agree. So
but my last game, Seahawks at Cardinals.
Ooh,
Before we get started, I
gosh.
didn't put any Cardinals on this list because they're all bad except for David Johnson.
I like it.
You're gonna start him by name,
yeah,
but everybody else negative.
negative Ghost Rider.
My good for this one is Chris Carson. He's got 45 attempts in the last 3 games. He had 32 attempts last week versus the Cowboys alone. I think they're relying on the run game, trying to keep Russell Wilson from getting his head knocked off.
Yeah.
Because that offensive line's not the greatest.
No.
I think you've seen their script too when they get ahead.
Well, yeah.
That they're going to feed Carson. So
Yep. And he's averaging 12 points per game. And Arizona is 32nd. That is dead last against running backs.
Arizona is so bad.
They are across the board, like offense, defense, special teams. It's not a good situation to be a Cardinals fan.
I didn't think they'd be this bad.
No, I didn't.
It's hard to watch.
Well, it just speaks a lot to me, it speaks a lot of the coach that was there. I
Bruce
forget his name.
Arians?
Yeah, Arians. Because it's night and day difference, offense and defense for Arizona. Remember when Arians was there, Cardinals were top 10 defense.
Yep.
Yeah.
But my bad for this one is Rashad Penny. Carson looks like now he's going to be the bell cow guy. He's got 20 attempts this whole season versus Carson's 45, and Penny's averaging 4 points per game, and that's just based on a few receptions he gets per game.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Basically the mop-up work.
Yeah, he's not. I mean, he's literally doing nothing.
yeah.
And my ugly is tight end Will Dissly. I know,
Will Dissly.
old Dilly Bars,
Dilly Bar.
but
He'll be back.
Yeah, he didn't have a good game last week, but he's averaging 12 points per game, and he's becoming one of Russell's most reliable targets. Arizona's 14th against tight ends. They could get Doug Baldwin back this week.
I think that helps.
I
Old
doubt
Dilly
it.
Bar.
But yeah, you'll get Lockett and Baldwin, which will open up the middle. Dilly Bar is waiting for the ball.
Right. I also think that the thing that kind of held Dissly back was the fact that Dallas does have somewhat athletic tight end or linebackers that can kind of go sideline to sideline with Jalen Smith and Vander Bosch or whatever, but Vander Esch, whatever.
It just didn't help that they were up
Right.
for most of the game, so they didn't need to really pass. They just fed Carson.
Right. So I think that he's going to get more involved this week.
And
honestly.
they kind of look like they took Disley out of the game. Like that was kind of like their game
Van
script.
start figuring in at times. I saw Van Ness catch a few passes. And I'm just like,
So-
where was he at? So
Well, Dallas had something they were going to try and it didn't work.
no, it did not.
But
Screwed some people's fantasy teams though.
It did.
stay away from Peyton Barber.
Yeah.
Give me all that Peyton Barber. It's terrible, hot garbage. All right, the games I got New Orleans and the Giants.
That would be a shootout.
Should be.
Actually, most of the games I have are all shootouts. I was looking at the
You like points, so there you go.
the over-unders on all these. The lowest one was 46.5. That means there's points to be made around here.
Right.
Scored, whatever you want to call it. All right, my good is Sterling Shepard.
Yes.
Saints are terrible against the pass, ranked 32nd. Shepard's going to have the same opportunity he did last week. I think he's going to repeat a performance.
Yeah, I think that Marshawn Lattimore, their best cover corner, is going to be on OBJ all day. So
With Ingram gone, that's more
Yep.
uptick for them.
Right.
yeah,
My bad, and it's kind of because he's kind of just fading away, is Ted Ginn Jr. here.
yeah.
The Giants surprisingly are pretty good against the pass, and Ted Ginn's kind of fallen behind Watson now as the target guy.
Well, and I think that Meredith has decided came back in last week, and I think they want him to be the true
Right.
wide receiver too, so that takes away the opportunities again had. But let's be honest, the opportunities are pretty much whatever Kamara or Michael Thomas doesn't
Right.
want.
Right.
And that's
Exactly.
pretty much then falls to Watson's plate.
Well-
And then whatever falls off of Watson's plate falls onto whoever they decide.
It's the same thing as Brandon Cooks when he was in the Saints.
Yep.
If it wasn't on Thomas or Jimmy Graham or whoever, they threw the long ball to
Right,
Cooks. Ted Ginn's in the same role.
right.
Right. So my ugly then is, we just talked about him, was Watson.
Yeah.
His targets have increased each week, and the more comfortable he gets back with this offense, I just think he's going to be the third option to Thomas and Kamara.
I thought at the beginning of the season when Watson signed there that he was going to get that because the last time he played New Orleans, he had a career year.
Right.
Well, see, I thought Meredith would be way more involved than he has been, and Ginn would give you the over-top thing.
But Meredith has been hurt.
Right.
Or they haven't activated him, I should say.
And Ginn had a good first game, but I think Watson was still getting his feet underneath him, and now he's just rolling. He's
Yeah.
gonna pick up steam, and you're right. I think he's gonna fill that Jimmy Graham role from a few years ago, and that's gonna be nasty,
Right.
especially if you can get him off the waivers.
Especially if this defense is not doing what they were supposed to like last year and actually holding people to low scores. Drew Brees is going to be throwing the ball. So him and Watson have a connection, so
Right.
why not?
All right, the next game I got is San Francisco at the Chargers.
Oh,
This is
how
gonna be
how a week changes the
It's going
matchup.
to be real ugly.
Yeah, this is ugly. Well, I told you to avoid this player last week, and you shouldn't have. It's Mike Williams. He's my good. He's now taken over that number 2 spot in the Chargers offense with Keenan Allen on the other side. And again, San Francisco's just, they're reeling right now. I think it could be a big game for Mike Williams.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. My bad. Sorry, I know it's your tight end, but it's Kittle.
Yeah. It's definitely a concern.
Now, not saying he's going to be totally, you can't play him. I just think his value or his volume is going to come down
Oh, yeah.
now with, the handsome one, Jimmy G out.
Right.
So,
Well, Brethard, I mean, I went and looked at the stats, and he pretty much is only able to truly carry one, receiving option in the offense. Now, granted, I know the team last year wasn't even close to the options that he had this year, but I'm just saying, more than likely, you've got Goodwin, you've got Pierre Garçon, Dante Pettis, Kittle, Breida if he plays.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, more often than not, they're probably going to be playing from behind, so they're probably going to be throwing the ball a ton. So I just don't think there's going to be one set person. And I think if you play Kittle, you're praying that he gets a touchdown in the red zone.
Right.
Honestly, that's pretty much what you're playing for.
Dependent now.
Yeah.
right,
At
absolutely.
this point.
Yep. And my ugly, if he plays, is Breida.
Yeah.
For me, at the current moment, he's really the only upside you have outside of Kittle.
Right.
I don't see a lot out of Goodwin, Garcon. I just don't think
You're good.
that's annoying. Brethard is gonna have enough arm to really carry them down the field.
Right.
So, but
We'll
I mean,
see.
he's still. I mean, Breida's hurt though, so don't have a high expectation
Right.
for him. But
Hyperextended knee.
yeah.
Yeah.
But hey, he came back last week.
He
He
did.
did. That's a good
So-
sign. But
All right, moving on to the Sunday night football game. We got Baltimore at Pittsburgh.
that's actually this should be a good
These
one.
division games are always, especially in the AFC North, or is that North?
Yeah.
Yep.
They're always beat 'em up games, so I like this one.
Doing the over-under's 51 on this. When I saw these matchups, I had to look over these over-unders because I was like, there's points everywhere.
Well, I just think the Steelers' defense is trash. Honestly, they're like paper mache. They're just it's pretty much Just goes right through. There's no stopping. I mean, outside of Watt, that's pretty much their only true defensive guy they've got.
But Pittsburgh looks bad but look at who they played.
True.
Tampa Bay and Kansas City.
Right.
High-powered offenses.
Right.
They got turnovers and stuff last week against Fitzmagic.
They put some pressure on Fitzmagic, at
Right.
least in the first
That's
half.
the thing. Their offense is predicated on getting pressure to the quarterback. They are not a put 3 or 4 down linemen and that's it. They're sending linebackers at random points, corner, safety. They try to cover their blitzes. Like they mask them. So which Baltimore does the same thing, honestly.
Right.
So that's why it's always interesting when they play.
So my good in this, and I think he's going to be a starting quarterback every week, is Big Ben.
Yeah.
I know Baltimore ranks 6th in against a quarterback, but look who they went against: Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Denver.
True.
Peterman, Dalton, and Keenum. Not exactly the top echelon
Right.
quarterbacks. Another reason you got to play Big Ben, he's at home.
Oh, yes.
Gotta love that.
And over the last 2 weeks, he scored 75 points. You know, there's only 2 other guys that scored more than that. You know who those 2 are?
Quarterbacks?
Yep.
I'm going to say
Mahomes
Yes.
and Fitzmagic.
Yeah.
No,
Really?
Matt Ryan.
Wow.
Matt
yeah.
Ryan came in
Good
at
old Matty
84. He
Ice.
threw a 50 up last week.
That's
True.
right, yeah.
We have a 6-point
Okay.
touchdown league.
Right.
And then Mahomes is 82.
Okay. I
So-
knew Mahomes was in that group. That
So
guy's
listen, Big
lights
Ben's
out.
balling out. With Juju is definitely a hit. I mean, you got Washington still there. Brown. Connor's catching the ball. I mean, this
Vance
is...
McDonald with his stiff
Who
arm.
knows? Yeah, McDonald slash
His
Jesse James.
I
Who
call
knows?
it the IR stiff arm. I mean,
Gosh.
Chris Conte's
Yeah.
feeling
Well,
that one.
he was playing with a knee injury, and he was playing with a sprained MCL anyway.
Well,
Yeah,
listen,
well,
I'd
that
go
just
on the
tipped the
IR
scale.
too after that.
That was embarrassing.
Did you? Just so I know, did anybody else see like the picture of like Cameron
Cameron
Hayward?
Hayward
being like,
point-
Yeah, that was great.
That was
That's-
awesome.
I watched
like
that
it.
on repeat.
Yeah, that's a good one.
All right, my bad in this is Aaron Collins.
Yeah. Aaron?
No,
Alex.
Whoa.
Aaron Jones,
Man,
Alex
Aaron
Collins.
Collins.
They got the same amount
Guy
of points,
from
and
high
Aaron
school.
Jones has only played one game.
Right. Same difference.
Jeez. Man, I totally had a
okay.
brain fart there.
It's okay.
That's
we
a guy
gotcha.
from high school.
Right. Shout out to Aaron Jones from high school. There you
shout
go.
out Aaron Collins.
Aaron Collins, shout out, buddy.
Anyways, Alex Collins. Either way, don't play either one. Neither one's no
The other
good.
one's going to get you
Yeah.
good points this week.
Steelers haven't allowed more than 77 yards to a running back this year, and they've only allowed 2 touchdowns. With Buck Allen now vulturing his red zone
A
touchdowns.
lot.
Yeah, and he's the receiving option. I just
Yeah.
don't see Collins as a great play. I mean, unfortunately, with bye weeks and injuries, you're going to play Collins. Just don't expect a lot.
Right. He truly was given the opportunity to be the guy. I think Baltimore tried to give him that opportunity to be the RB1 in that offense and not do a split backfield. And Dixon getting hurt, I mean, all the cards fell perfectly for him, and he still just isn't doing it. I think they.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say they've transitioned to a more passing
Yes,
offense. I think.
That's what I was going to say. They turned into
No,
a throwing
But
team.
Collins would still have great value if they just gave him the red zone. That's what's so weird is they'll still hand the ball off to Buck Allen when Collins is the bigger back.
Right. Well,
Buck Allen's vultured a lot of touchdowns in the red zone.
Yeah.
True.
Rushing and receiving.
Right. It's just confusing. I normally, your receiving back is not your goal line guy.
I know.
And it's the exact opposite here in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So, anyways, my ugly, we talked about it. Pittsburgh can't stop the pass. It's John Brown.
Yeah.
He leads the team with 222 yards and 2 touchdowns over the last 2 weeks. He's currently like 29th on your wide receiver.
Right.
So, to me, he's the play, especially in a PPR league.
High upside, man. Especially on these bye weeks that you might need to plug in somebody for just a 1 week
To be honest with you, it's kind of crazy to think Baltimore's got a viable
offensive passing game.
yes, or
Yeah.
wide receiver. When's the last
Right.
time you could say that? I mean, both Crabtrees is still a good play.
Right. To
Gets
me,
enough volume.
well, plus it's a Sunday night game, so
Yep.
that's another good thing. It's a primetime game, so you get that Sunday night or Monday night type concept where your opponent potentially plays all their games, the guys at 1 and 4 o'clock, and they've got to sit there and watch the Steelers and the Ravens on Sunday Night Football, hoping that John Brown
Right.
doesn't score a 60-yard touchdown and end your week right there. So
Right.
it's the same concept. I mean, just it's Deshaun Jackson. I mean, who's another big one? Good one. I mean, it's that they have the opportunity to literally catch a ball for 50 yards and a touchdown, and then you just kind of sit back, kick your feet up on the desk, and it's over. I mean, when a guy like that scores a touchdown for a long catch like that,
Yep.
and you probably put him as your flex, that's a good week, honestly.
Yep.
So,
I agree. All right, moving on to the Monday night game.
ooh,
This is going to be points everywhere. Kansas City at Denver.
I think it's going to be points one-sided.
yeah,
Well, it could be, but Kansas City's defense is
They
really
are,
not been that great.
but Case Keenum is trash.
I agree with you on that.
I
But
called it without Thielen there, I mean, I know he's got Sanders doing well, but Case Keenum's at the bottom. Case Keenum's at the bottom of every successful.
I think this will be
No, not every Dex.
this will be the change. It's at
I
Denver.
didn't say he was the lowest. I said he's in the low part.
Well, this is where Keenum's going to bounce back. We're at Denver here.
Okay.
So-
Up at the Mile High Stadium.
Right.
Gotcha.
'Cause, yeah, I actually like both Sanders and Thomas in this game.
Yeah.
I mean-
I was going to say, the opportunity's there.
Well, their defense is trash.
Well, they rank bottom. They're in the bottom against the wide receiver. They've already let up 5 touchdowns. There's going to be some points scored.
Right.
Here. Now, I had to find a bad here, and to me, it's the Denver backfield, Lindsey/Freeman.
Yeah, well, I mean, it helped that Lindsey went out and punched somebody, apparently, and then Royce Freeman got all the
at
volume.
the bottom of the pile, he
Right.
punches somebody.
He said he's trying to knock the ball out. Well,
You missed. You hit
he
somebody
might
in the
even
face.
get suspended. We don't even know yet.
Right.
That's still up in the air. But
Right.
Either way, neither one's involved enough to
Right.
think they're going to be viable in this game. So I'm
He-
passing on both.
He's not going to get suspended. He'll play this week.
I agree.
Which that makes you now have a split backfield again.
Well, it'd be different if one took over the passing down and one was your running back, but neither one's doing that.
No, they're just
So-
interchanging who's doing well,
And,
honestly.
and Booker's still taking some of your carries / receptions.
I stayed away from that whole entire
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
Oh, trust me, I tried last week and it just. I got
You got
punched.
burned?
I got punched. Let's
You
put it that
got
way.
punched at the bottom
Yeah,
of the pile?
I got punched.
2 points.
Wasn't even in the bottom, just right in the back of the head.
Sucker punch.
All right, just because you're going to want receiving options in this game, my ugly is Watkins.
Yeah.
I like that, actually.
I mean, he's not to the level of what Tyreek Hill has seen
Right.
points-wise on a weekly basis. However, he has seen like what I said was going to happen. He's going to be when the coverage is dictated to take away Hill on the play. He has no problem running the same routes that Hill runs and doing the same exact thing.
What I like about it is they're actually getting him carries too.
Oh, yeah.
So he's involved more than just one way.
Right.
Which
They're
is-
trying to get the ball into a playmaker's hand. That's honestly what they're trying to do. And as long as he's healthy, you have to play Watkins when he's
And
healthy.
listen, Kareem Hunt is not catching the ball out of the backfield.
No.
So Watkins and Hill are going to have a ton of play back there.
I mean, Kareem Hunt is not shocking, doing what a lot of people thought he was going to do and just kind of pick up where he was last year. No. You know why? Because Mahomes is throwing the ball lights out 50 yards down the field every time.
Yep.
He's not throwing these little dink and dunk Alex Smith plays.
And Spencer Ware is getting more and more play.
Oh.
The healthier he gets.
Shocking. Andy Reid is doing exactly what he's been doing for the past, I don't know how many years since he was even in Philadelphia. When he has 2 viable offensive running backs that he can play, he has no problem playing them. Both.
But you can't sit Hunt. He's still seeing a lot of play in the red zone.
Volume is still his.
Right.
But the
He's still
scoring,
getting about 18 carries, which
Well,
is really
I
good.
think the league's Mahomes has declined a little bit on his passing every week since his big game. They're double teaming Tyreek Hill. He had 7.6 points this last week. Sammy Watkins had 18.
Yeah. And that's what I said was going to happen eventually. I'm not saying every game, but I'm saying on a week-to-week matchup basis, if a team has a good corner, they're going to try to probably double-team Tyreek Hill. There's going to be games where he's going to get double-teamed, and at that point, based on the matchups, I mean, Sammy Watkins is a viable flex play, or even a wide receiver too, depending on the defense that they're going against. I mean, 18 points is a good play for a guy that
Absolutely.
you're putting in on a whim, hoping that he does what he did. So, I don't know.
This year's the year of the wide receiver, though.
Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
And I punted on him this year, and that's why I'm hurting.
Right. Well, I'm just saying, in this game specifically, I think that the points will be there. I just think that it's going to be a lot easier for Kansas City to score. I think that Denver's going to be playing a lot of catch-up passing-wise, which is going to help.
Which is why I
Demaryius
like
Thomas,
Sanders and Thomas.
Emmanuel Sanders. I don't think it's going to be toe-for-toe. Like, I don't think it's going to be Mahomes drives the field 7 points, and then Case Keenum drives the field 7 points. I think it's going to be Mahomes scores 7. The Denver's maybe kicks a field goal. Then Mahomes drives the field for another 7. Now you're at 14-3, and then there's a turnover, or they go 3 and out, and then Mahomes puts 21 now on the board. Now you're 21-3. Now you have to throw
Just
the
like
ball.
it's been for Kansas City
Yeah,
all season.
pretty much.
It could be like this last Monday night game. One team gets up a bunch, kind of takes their foot off the pedal, and the other one just slowly
Right.
creeps back in by the pass.
But I do want to see how Von Miller does in getting into that backfield, because let's be honest, Mahomes really hasn't seen a whole lot of pressure yet. And
Right.
if Von Miller can get some pressure on him, that's what I want to see. And that's what I said. I said, Mahomes, if he's got time to throw the ball, he's going to make plays. He's just that special of a player. However, he's not really had a whole lot of pressure yet.
Now you get Miller and Chubb.
Right, coming in. I'm just saying that could be a potential uh-oh. I'm not saying it's going to hinder him putting potentially 35, 42 points on the board. I'm just saying if Mahomes has a bad game, you know why. And it's not going to be because he didn't play well. It's just because the offensive line didn't protect enough to keep those two guys out of the backfield. So
Mahomes is legit, man. He is just fun to watch.
It's the offense.
Yeah.
I mean, Alex Smith was quarterback one a lot of the year last year.
Right. I'm just saying
It's the scheme, man.
It's
He's
honestly,
got a cannon, too.
right.
So.
It doesn't hurt. And Andy Reid is allowing him to throw the ball down the field instead of just dinking and dunking. I think, and that's why I said I think Andy Reid plays to the strengths of the quarterback. Alex Smith, although he did throw the ball down the field at times, a lot more last year than he had in previous years, his bread and butter was a 5-yard here, a 2-yard here, then a 15-yard. Then it was a 5, then it was a 2. And, I mean, he would kind of like climb up and down the ladder of the routes. But Mahomes is like, and Mahomes goes through his progressions. He's not just looking for Tyreek Hill. He looks through the progressions. But, I mean, some of these throws that he made to Tyreek Hill, I mean, even last week, the one throw that he made that was a deep pass down the field, you're just like.
Well, it helps when you got two of the fastest guys in the league.
True. And Travis Kelce's, surprisingly enough, actually doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'm starting to think I'm going to eat my words on that one.
That's all right. Listen, no one thought Mahomes, I don't think anyone at this table thought Mahomes was going to be this good.
No, I thought he was going to be at least above average, but I didn't think he would be a top 5 quarterback. That's the thing. I thought he was top 12.
He's a must-own, must-start.
I mean, he's going to must start, but I don't know how long this will last where it's 35 points a game.
I don't know. See, where I differ from him and Watson is Watson has to run still because he turns the ball over too much. Mahomes is just not turning the ball over.
Yeah.
So that's what I like. That's why I like Mahomes. Now it could be the offensive scheme too. I'm not going to totally write that off, but that's why I like Mahomes a lot more, even moving forward.
But I mean, he's putting laser throws in it. I mean, it's not just he's throwing the ball far.
He's just slinging it. Yeah.
He's just not turning. And when you don't turn the ball over and you throw 5 touchdowns, you're going to be the number 1 quarterback every week.
Right. So, all right. Was that so? Anything on the game?
No.
All right.
That's my good, my bad, and my ugly.
Yeah. So Monday night should be a good game. I mean, Monday nights have been pretty decent overall.
The primetime games have been good.
Now, what stinks is, I think me and Thacker looked at this stat up last night. 49ers have 6 primetime games here going forward. Thursday nights, Sundays, and Mondays, just because they thought, the 49ers.
Well, you got to put the handsome one on TV. I mean, come on.
Maybe they get swapped out.
Yeah, I was going to say, when they start that flex scheduling, maybe a lot of that will go away because those are going to be blowouts.
Listen, swap them out, put the Bengals in.
No,
don't
Come
do
on.
Come on, man.
What do you want to watch, the Cowboys?
No.
Definitely not.
No, it's hard to watch those.
Kansas City will be swapped in.
I think the Kansas City team and a
I
couple
think
other
Pittsburgh
teams.
will be too.
Kansas City, Pittsburgh, New England, all these big
Listen, I've seen enough New England.
I know, but the NFL loves them.
I know.
Miami might get flexed in if they continue this undefeated streak.
I got news for you. After this weekend, Miami's going back to the basement.
Right.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
New England's mad.
They'll be 3-1 and feel like they're in last place.
On to Miami. All right, so that's all we got for today. Thanks again for tuning in to the podcast and the YouTube, the YouTube show. Please check our site.
The YouTube.
Check out the site, thehateful8ff.com. You can find our weekly in-season articles, and also we have our apparel. And you can follow us on Twitter, our personal accounts, at jpickleTH8FF, at jblackburnTH8FF, and at ftrimTH8FF. Don't forget to join the Average Joe Nation and support the show via our Patreon tab on the site, where you can get your in-season weekly help as well. Anything else?
See you, Aaron Collins.
Shout out to Aaron Collins.
Man, I hope he's listening.
I hope he is. He's probably like,
hey, remember, we are answering questions before every
Yes.
week on Twitter. And if you got any other question, just DM us or hit the show up, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we've got our chief editor over in the UK, since he's on the early schedule. Tim Jablonski's out there, and he's doing the we'll call it the first shift, the morning crew. So you can want to hit him up, and then we're going to be hitting up probably about an hour or two before the 1 o'clock games, and we'll be on till kickoff. So if you guys want any questions answered, we'll be there to help you out. So, all right, thanks again, and good luck this week. Hopefully, if you're struggling this week, that you get a win. And hopefully, if you're on a winning streak, hopefully you continue your winning. So, we'll see you guys next week.
Deuces.
Bye.
Oh my goodness.
One more time. There ain't no one like these three. You know you just heard Pickle, Blackburn, and Trimboli. Give the goods talking about nothing but fantasy football. Yeah, it's your year to dominate and to wear that ring. Prepare for the draft and dial in on your craft. Quarterback, the first round is a good choice, you ask? This guy's got first round pick, a favorite? Not so fast. He failed to tune into Hateful Eight. He's a chump finishing last.